once again, cross position. Our Terran player won't be too happy about that. Starting to the bottom left, we have the Zerg player, or Samsung Khan it is.
삼성전자 칸 RorO.
Pump. Street Fighter boys. That in your face. Here we have him. And of course his opponent, playing Terran, starting to the top right, cross position as mentioned, is the Terran player for Slayers. He's called...
Watch out. Command Center's getting sneaked up on. Watch out, Command Center. Haven't got you. Command Center's so scared looking at Flash like that. So embarrassed.
Here we have Ryung. Ryung, definitely a strong Terran player, but it's tricky, especially with the maps that he has to play. It's not easy facing a Zerg player that is as strong as RorO. And on close position on Whirlwind, this is something you usually try to avoid.
Yeah, this is... Yeah, you're actually like... Usually you try to avoid it's like random, but like in the booth, you're like crossing your fingers, you wore your lucky socks, and you've got like your special good luck charm from 3rd grade in there, and you're like, listen, please, no cross spawns on this map.
Yeah.
He's gonna go Command Center first, and RorO will greet him with the hatch first as well.
The question is now, of course, how many drones will RorO produce? I don't think we are going to see double hatch before pool, not without the drone scout, and he didn't send out a single one. But he will probably play this quite greedy and get a lot of drones before he starts with the spawning pool. Actually, only 2. Oh, there's the 3rd.
Yeah. Gas.
Yep, gas first as well. This is just all the stuff that he can get away with. He realizes that on this map it's very unlikely that Ryung is going to pressure him early on in the game, therefore he takes a little bit of a gamble. Of course, if you suddenly have in the middle of the map a double barracks play by Ryung, then you might just die because you are so greedy, but this is something that does not really happen.
This is very rare on this map. You see players do this from time to time, catch people off guard, which makes it all the more interesting on the map.
But even if you build the double barracks in the middle of the map, the distance to their opponent's base is still so far down.
See early pools in this map from time to time as well. We're going to see double orbitals come down here as the Command Center gets ready. That flower, if that's what girl you like. It's a really big flower. Actually, from the looks of this, it looks small, but actually, think about it. How big that SCB is. Look at how that is a tall flower.
That actually looks like it could bite you.
It might, man. It might actually feed on the insects here. Scanopede's got to be careful.
Scanopede has been devoured by the Farmillia.
This has got to be so careful.
I feel that Ryung has also to be really careful on this map. This is something that you don't want to play as a Terran player. It's just so big, and if Zerg sets up a lot of Spine Crawlers and Spore Crawlers on all those additional bases and is able to hold them against drop play, then it's really, really tricky. So, I'm not quite sure. What do you think about the Ghost play in general against Infestors? I feel that
way underused.
It's of course really tricky to make this change in style because you have to get used to different timings and you have to kind of prepare what exactly your opponent is doing. So it's not like you just start with it and build a few Ghosts and that's it. But it kind of forces you to play a completely different style, I feel.
You either make 6 Vikings at a time and don't make Ghosts, or it's like you make a few less Vikings and you add some Ghosts in. I feel like that's kind of the trade-off there. Obviously, if you get the Ghost Academy, you gotta make some researches going on there. It's definitely not easy, but it's a style we have seen, and it was used before the patch, and like insanely.
Yeah, and it worked. And the thing is, I mean, with players like Neo using it against RorO in a WCS career, you could see that it really pays off. And quite often these days, we have a scenario where a Terran player is facing a Zerg in this late game. Oh wow, it's on the SCV, gets away. But yeah, to finish my thought, in this late game where both sides are accumulating a huge bank, and this is definitely the time when you can afford all these additional units, these additional techs.
All I can think about right now is, can an Automaton 2000 bot be repaired if it's taken damage? Hold that thought. Because, well, those Lings actually all escaped. Hellions didn't take a single shot. They both made a treaty not to fight each other. There's a third base. Third base on this map is always a little bit awkward for the Zerg because it's far away, and if your opponent has Hellions out, it's really easy to harass that. He's not going to have creep over there by the time the Banshee gets there. There's just no way.
It would really be nice to see what Ryung is going to change in this game if you compare it to Entomb. That's the one thing that I'm really watching out for, because I want to see him be a little bit more aggressive. The problem that he had in the last game was that RorO had all this time to develop his strategy, to develop his economy, and then later on it's just so difficult for a Terran player to face a Zerg who's maxed out, who has the bank to just resupply his army. So if Ryung is playing this a little bit more aggressive and tries to take down the economy, that would help him a lot. But it's actually RorO who sneaks in with those Zerglings, and so many of these SCVs are really in trouble now. 3 have been killed. The Mule as well, yeah.
This is great map awareness by RorO.
Actually didn't take down the SCV.
Yeah, that was lucky SCV there. No drones to kill. You can start damaging the hatchery for the Banshee to come later, but it's not a very big win here. Another Zergling run by, though, at the natural. How many workers killed in total? Just 5, but a lot of mine time lost, plus mules going down is always a big problem.
The mule was, of course, a big problem, but these Zerglings are just getting away, a few of them dying. And of course, Cloak is now being done. Xel'Naga Watchtower in the middle of the map. Needs to be a little bit more careful with those. One of them gets surrounded.
Here comes that Banshee. And he does not have the lair up just yet.
And I don't think he has Spock Rollers.
No, he doesn't have Evolution Chamber either. He's really playing this a little bit risky. He's going to lose a lot of drones at this hatchery. Probably going to have to pull them away.
There are also no queens at the third base, so he will have to pull them away if he wants to save them. And Ryung this time is going for mech. He's going for the double armory.
Rocheborn goes down here as well. There's the first Overseer.
He pulls the drones away immediately, but some of them are still rallied to the top left. And he takes down quite a few of them.
He needs to target a little bit better if he wants to get those. There
yeah, that's exactly what he does now. So the Harvest account killed is now at 7. Banshee with 7 kills here. And now Roach Warren and also the Spire for RorO. He already identified what's going on in his opponent's main base.
He's able to be very flexible here. Now he can make a few mutas, try to force doors, and then he can make the roaches to try to force prestige tanks. I don't know why that was so complicated.
See the
Spire?
Yeah, I don't think
we did. Ah, you can see the roach one. Or no, the Baneling Nest.
Yeah, he doesn't know about the Baneling Nest. The Hellions trying to do damage at the third base. This is just Ryung trying to attack everywhere. He has a few Banshees that try to get into the natural, into the main base. At the same time, he macros those Hellions at the third. But RorO is everywhere. He has Queens in position at every single position that his opponent is trying to attack. So this was a nice defense. Multi-prongs attack by Ryung are also really well executed, but with the Zerg player ready, it just doesn't do too much.
It's so interesting. He's actually, okay, he started 7 mutas. I was going to say, it's like RorO picked the assorted build. He's like, well, I'll have 2 mutas and about 6 banelings and maybe 4 roaches, but no, he is going to commit to mutas a little bit more heavily, 7 of them. But he's got roach speed, he's got muse, he's got the Baneling Nest. His build is kind of prepared for everything, but he's got to make sure that he doesn't spread himself too thin with the type of units he's making, because you have to commit one way or the other to do something. You know, it's starting out with the mutas to force the Thors, which are already starting to produce right now.
It helps him so much against Hellions and of course against the Banshees. And he can just put some aggression on his opponent. The Thors are already being built, the Mutalisks have been shown. I'm really interested in how many Mutalisks RorO will build over the course of the game. I don't expect him to get too many.
I think he may just stick with these first 7. He's already started 15 roaches now. Just wants to be able to harass these, shut down Banshee play, and also, like you said, it's really good against the Hellions as well.
Another thing that we should mention is if he actually just continues to build roaches and hits a good timing, he could be aggressive, because there's not a single siege tank. And only Thors, only like 2 to 4 Thors against a lot of roaches will not be enough. I don't think that's really what's going to happen here, but it's definitely...
It's a possibility. He's got an insane amount of production right now. He's already pretty heavy in supply. The factories of Ryung just finished up, so he's going to have a bit of extra production. He's even got 2 more on the way now, so he's going to catch up in supply pretty quickly now. But this type of attack is very dangerous for Ryung. He has to have his Thors in position, or else he's just going to lose a ton of units.
The Thors chasing the Mutalisks away, but still RorO trying to poke. He's of course ahead in supply. He's getting all these upgrades, but the same is true for Ryung, who gets +2/+2. More and more Thors, more and more production buildings, going straight for a double factory here, and of course also 2 additional bases. But RorO is taking the map at this point.
And here comes one of those roach attacks you talked about. He's going to be able to pick out several SCVs here. There's not very many Thors. Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't have the siege tanks, and this is the big problem that he's facing right now. There's so many Hellions and Banshees, but they can't really deal with those roaches. So the only thing that he has is the Thors, and 4 Thors, that's something that you can basically one-shot with the amount of roaches that he currently has at disposal.
Yeah, he's got a ton of Zerglings to the right side as well, so that's going to be another problem. Ryung is not able to mine with his 3rd base. You need 3 bases up and running for mech if you want to be able to continue running all your units and keep using those factories.
Trying to take down the Banshee, but Ryung reacts in time and cloaks it. The Thors, once again, just trying to get into range to attack the Mutalisks. 21 Harvesters have been killed, as shown earlier. So RorO now currently doing everything right. Whereas he's always punishing his opponent's 3rd, punishing the lack of siege tanks, going in and taking Harvesters down. He's tanking too high. He's playing a really good game here. He lost most of his Mutalisks, but he's playing an amazing game, even using a couple of roaches right now to take down more Harvesters, occupy his opponent, and moving to take down the siege tanks, which is brutal.
Oh wow, so many tanks lost here, and SCVs are going to go down as well. Meanwhile, he double expands to the top left of the map. Ryung is in a lot of trouble here.
Yes, he definitely is.
He is in dire straits.
Oh my god, the roaches moving in. They can actually take down another siege tank if they want to. They will die anyways. But now this, the Blue Flame Hellions, they take down all the Zerglings. But look at these statistics. 40 workers killed, and now we have suddenly the Greater Spire on its way. We have the 2nd attack upgrade being researched for the ranged units, Adrenal Glands. This game is going RorO's way. He's playing everything, I don't want to say perfect, but just so well. Look at the left side of the map. There are so many bases being built for him
Even
now.
one to the south as well. He's got the ability to mine from anywhere he wants to. Ryung is not going to be able to move out and take out any of those hatcheries.
And Ryung is still on 3 bases. He can build as many command centers as he wants to, but he cannot really take another base. And those Hellions, boom, swoops in, takes them down.
Yeah, 30 supply lead here, and the Greater Spire is halfway done. I like these Banshees because they're just kind of like, well, you want to hang out over here, but I'm sorry, you can't. Please go to the designated Zerg hangout zone.
The upgrades for Ryung, as shown on screen right now, are pretty decent.
They're really good.
Yeah, +2/+2 is definitely something that you want for your mech army. But RorO is also in a very good spot when it comes down to the upgrades. He just doesn't stop. The armor upgrade is something that he's missing, he's lacking a little bit. But just in general, he's doing a great job here. And he was able to keep Ryung on 3 bases. There's not a 4th.
And Ryung only has a small amount of Thors. He only has 4. He's about to face Broodlords with that. He has no Vikings, no real infrastructure to deal with this. It's going to be really easy for RorO to fight this army.
Yeah. The only thing that he has to deal with are those Thors, and once again, the Zerglings trying to get in here everywhere. He's just everywhere. He's taking down the, there they are, the Hellions at the wall, taking down the missile turret too.
This is really, really bad. Another attack comes in here. The Spine Crawlers slow it down, but he will be able to take out the hatchery. The problem is there's about 4 other hatcheries the drones can go to later on.
And now the sensor turret is dying. The Zerglings once again in the economy at the 3rd base. 46 Harvesters killed, 47.
And the roaches,
48.
yeah, he can deal with the Lynx, but he can't deal with these roaches here.
Exactly, those Blue Flame Hellions, they are dead. But look at the amount of Banshees that... Oh wow, that is the funnel that he needed. Oh my god. That was brutal. That was the one thing that Ryung hoped would not happen, and this is devastating. Those Banshees really kept him alive for quite a while.
I can't imagine how he's feeling right now. He is just being ripped apart like a piece of meat.
He must be
devastated.
devastated.
Going to have to cancel, maybe.
He must really be devastated. And now without the Blue Flame Hellions, the Zerglings can run in. They won't be able to take down this army, but they can take down a few siege
They damage it, you know, and this is something that Ryung wants to repair now, but he can't really. Hatcheries all over the map. One of them will fall to siege tanks at the top left.
But now we have 7 Broodlords. 2 additional ones are being built. He starts his Viking production, but RorO is playing a great game here. The resources lost for both of them are roughly the same. Ryung is now getting +3/+3, and he's definitely not out of this yet. But it's just that RorO, he decides in which direction the game goes. Even if Ryung takes down bases, RorO has more bases to fall back onto.
I was just trying to discover if RorO was trying to spell something with these creep tumors or not, but I don't think so.
Yeah, if you actually have them on the screen, it looks a little bit weird.
It kind of looks like an RO maybe, but I don't think so. I can't determine that.
I don't think he's writing his name here.
If he does, it'll be really funny.
So Ryung at this point is looking at a decent composition. It would have actually been so great for him if he didn't lose those Banshees. It was a little bit unlucky that those Infestors were in range, could just walk a little bit to the bottom and then fungal. It was really, really bad. Just unlucky for him. If he spreads those out, if Ryung pays attention to them, spreads them out, they can do so much damage. It was tricky.
The situation for Ryung is the game is not over. He's got insane upgrades. He's about to have 3-3. If he wins one fight, he might be able to take this game, but it's just going to be so hard for him. The size of the map is actually now working in his favor a little bit. He's not being overwhelmed. Yeah, he lost a lot, but he has the economy to continue to produce units. His army is really cost efficient. That's what mech is for.
And now he needs, of course, these Vikings. Here they are, 7. He will have 10. +3 attack is done, right?
Yes, just finished. +3 armor is almost done as well. +3 attack coming out for Roaches. He's getting the Carapace upgrades for the Muse. This is going to be really important because he doesn't have any Viking upgrades.
This could still go either way. It's a great game though. I really like how RorO is approaching this matchup. How he has units everywhere. He's not afraid to commit to an attack, pressuring his opponent. And Ryung with his defense, I have to admit that he's doing amazing here. He lost a lot, but he was always able to kind of recover. So he could have been in a much better position if his defense would have been even better. But it's just so difficult to do this against a Zerg player who is so ridiculous about every single attack, runs into the natural, runs into the main base, attacks at the third. Yeah, it's a really nice back and forth game.
Absolutely positional play from RorO. He's been the dominant force in this game. We've seen a lot of Hellion run by us, but most of them are just really shut down. Right now he sends a Hellion to the south, sees one base killed. Hellion to the bottom right, sees another expansion. There's no drones there though. And so there's nothing really for RorO to worry about. He sends about 8 lings, so we'll kill the Hellion, no problem.
I really feel that losing the Banshees earlier on was a huge blow to Ryung. Those Banshees could have taken down, chased down the units all over the map, even taken down a few bases.
Hatcheries, yeah.
We now have hatches to the bottom right and to the top left. These are all things that he could have dealt with those Banshees. Now he's moving out though, and RorO has to be very careful. Yes, he has a great army with 12 Corruptors and also 9 Infestors, but he has to be a little bit cautious about how he's going to approach it. It's not like he has Neuroparasite, which would help him actually against this army composition too.
Yeah, he's really got to be careful. You're so right. The ship upgrades, +1 for attack and the plating is coming up, but
Ryung suddenly has a huge bank.
yeah,
he has
got
this
a
4th
massive
base.
bank because RorO hasn't traded against him in a while.
Yeah.
And he's actually eliminating the Zerg bases pretty consistently to the north. The problem is, of course, the hatcheries to the south.
At some point, he has to move his way to the bottom left and has to take down the tech of his opponent. He has to face this army eventually. And now, both of them are just trying to get better upgrades, of course. Currently, RorO being a little bit ahead when it comes down to the air upgrades. But here we go.
Yeah, he wants to fight now. And he's actually getting in with some of his Hellions. The Thor shots are good, but there's the bundle.
Look at the Infestors. They have a huge problem against the Hellions. They're taking apart here. The bundle is good for RorO, but still, all those Thors and, of course, the Vikings doing a lot of damage to the air army.
The problem is, of course, even if the Infestors die, he's got no answer for all these Broodlings and all the Infested Terrans.
It's just too much.
It's way too much for him.
Wow, and immediately RorO maxes out. Of course, Ryung also tries to produce his mech army once more, but the problem is that his production is, of course, worse than RorO's with all those hatches that are all across the map for the Samsung Khan Zerg. But this attack that we've just seen, once again, Ryung losing more, but I really, for a second, I really thought those Infestors would die before they could do too much damage. Those Hellion were in a great position, but it was already a little bit too late.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this game is pretty much done with. I mean, there's not much that Ryung can do. He's sending Hellions across the map, but there are Spine Crawlers and Roaches set up everywhere. He's got no room to work with here.
These run-bys just don't work for him. RorO is shutting him down left, right, bottom, center. Everywhere we have Hellions for Ryung, a few Roaches follow suit and take down the Terran units. And now this third is going to die. This fourth, actually, sorry. And Ryung is still down. He's at half the supply of his opponent. Look just at the minimap and all these bases for RorO. He's taking down another command center.
There's a command center to the bottom right as well that can't even land because there's a Zergling under it. Ryung scans it, but what does it matter if he doesn't have any units to kill it? I think he's just scanning around the map before he GG's here. GG.
Oh, wow. Tough times to be a Slayers player. RorO advances. Congratulations to the Samsung Khan Zerg, but yep. Ryung out as his genius.
Samsung Khan, a team that's got a lot of great practice partners, a great practice mentality there at the team house as well. One of the best coaches. January, I think, got Coach of the Year. It's just like, I mean, yeah, Slayer's the team that's known in StarCraft 2, but hey, ESF players, casual players like RorO are making a splash. They are just systematically wiping you out.
Really well played by him. He played a very, very solid turn versus Zerg. He advances to the next round where he's going to face DRG.
And Donghaegu is also, like MC, going to be playing next week in OSL. So we've got a double tournament situation going on for him. And whoever wins that, of course, will get that direct spot into Code S. So that's going to be a pretty intense ZVZ.
Yeah, definitely.
ZVZ deciding who gets in Code S with these two players, man, that's going to be awesome.
That's a pretty cool third round of Code A. I'm so looking forward to it. We already talked a little bit about the matches that we have. For example, Alive, who has to face Creator. So that's going to be a good one. But Code A, the second round, is actually not done. On Thursday this week, we have the next set of games, 2 additional groups. Keep in mind that we have a bit of a schedule change this week because Code S is taking place on Wednesday, not on Thursday. So tomorrow is Code S. The day afterwards, we will have the last 2 groups in Code A.
Yeah, so make sure you're aware of that. Don't forget the finals for Code S are going to be on the 20th of October. They're going to be at COEX. It's at Samsung Station in Seoul. So make sure that you guys are, if you're in Korea, you get down there and watch that.
And at the weekend, we have once more the GSTL, of course. Great games that we've seen last week, and the same is true for this one. But of course, we have a closer look at today's results as well. So in case that you have tuned in a little bit later, here's an overview of what happened today.
Yeah, and of course, starting things off, Vampire took out Parting, the closest series of the day. Then Maru over ASD, Hyun over Yoda. Last but not least, Hack was able to 2-0 finale. That was our morning results.
Pretty straightforward performance by Hack. And now the games that we've just seen, we have Ryung advancing, so does the Prime player Creator. We have also Alive in the next round, and RorO. Pretty even race distribution here.
Yes.
And he was one of the players that a lot of people actually thought would be able to advance to the third round.
Don't forget about next week's matches in the morning session. We have Flash versus Mini, Terminator up against Shine, Keen will face Sniper, and last but not least for that morning session, we'll have Sirius up against Slayers MMA.
Then in the evening session,
for the second part, we will of course see these players.
With Sparta against SOS, aka Shy, Bogus against Bomber, Supernova versus Trap, and Boom Boom versus Kumio.
It's going to be an awesome lineup of matches both days.
Yeah, a lot of STX players also here in the second group, 2 of them, 2 StarTale players too. These teams are doing really well just lately. So yeah, this concludes it for the day. This is it for Code A today. And yeah, there's of course once again the information about the semifinals in Code S. It's going to take place tomorrow. Make sure that you tell everyone about it. I don't think that everyone is quite in all of that because there was the schedule change, so definitely keep it in mind.
Tell everybody to tune into that. And of course the GSTL on the weekend as well.
So we'll see you on Thursday and of course tomorrow Code S. So thank you very much for tuning in today. I hope that you enjoyed the show. See you next time. Bye-bye. Oh. There's once again the information about the final in case that you missed out on it. Yeah. You can look up all these information on GOMTV.net too. Everything is just written down there. Just click on the forum and most of the things have been announced on there.
Also, there's going to be a Heart of the Swarm giveaway and a chance to go to Las Vegas. So don't forget about all that stuff. There's a Guru Pop show as well. That information was up earlier. Check that out. Otherwise, thanks. We'll see you next time.
What's up, Combo?
Best Commander.
We got no regrets. What's the plan? GSL. In the service of ire.